We'll just jump in. I'm curious, what made you decide that you wanted to tell stories in this particular way?
Well, filmmaking for me was it was really like a 25-year deferred dream, actually. I'd been wanting to make movies since I was a kid, growing up on like 70s sci-fi films and stuff, like Star Wars and Star Trek and Close Encounters and all the kind of things that were around in like the 70s and 80s. But I'm actually from a working class immigrant family. Single mom raised us, and you know, there wasn't really, you know, encouragement of the artistic side of me. I was talking about movies a lot as a kid. But it really wasn't until I was an adult working in a day job that was totally unrelated to film that I finally said, okay, you know what, there's this other side of me that I've been wanting to, you know, that's been inside me this whole time, and I want to explore it. So I got involved with some Asian American theater groups here in New York, did some work with them, writing, acting, directing, and then from there started shooting short films, including a lot of the same people from the Asian American theater community here in New York, and who are still in my films, you know, even today. I'm big into this thing, into sustainable filmmaking, in that, especially now that the production, the cameras are so much better, the nonlinear editing systems are so much better, that, you know, the phone that you have in your pocket shoots HD, which, you know, for my first like 3 short films, I would have killed to have a camera like the iPhone in your pocket. So it's no longer about that kind of equipment thing. It's about more kind of your approach and how you want to make a go at this thing, you know? And to me, what's so much more interesting is not about getting your first film made, you know, whether it's a short or your feature, but getting like your 5th one made, you know, because very few of us get to that. But I think it's absolutely essential to figure out a way that you can kind of make these things kind of sustainably. It doesn't, which is not to say not ambitiously, but sustainably, so that you can get to that 5th film, because, you know, you're going to be learning as you go along. I see this very much as a marathon, as something where the more I exercise my filmmaking muscle, the better I'll get, you know? So maybe my first film will be good, but maybe my 5th one will be awesome. But how do I get to that 5th film? It's hard, because a lot of people, you know, frankly, we're dreamers, right? We're filmmakers and we're dreamers. That's why we got into this. And sometimes, you know, we can only focus on getting that one first film made, and then we forget that, no, actually, there's so much more beyond that. It was tied into not wanting to go into like credit card debt, you know, not wanting to mortgage my house, not wanting to have to borrow money from people that I frankly couldn't realistically pay back, you know? So basically, you know, and you find this at any level of filmmaking, any endeavor, that the more money you need from other people, the more, say, they're gonna have, the more things you're gonna owe to other people. And but I think, and that's fine. I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. You need to borrow things from people; they will want something in return. But I think if you're trying to get started in filmmaking and you're trying to kind of develop your own voice and you're trying to protect your own sort of core to kind of go forward in that, it would behoove you greatly to see if you can do things as cheaply as possible, but as ambitiously as possible. So that's what I always try to do with my films. So my shorts, I have 6 short films or something that I'll admit to. Maybe there are others. They're staying on the hard drive. They will never be seen. But those films were done from a range of budgets from like $94 to like $40,000. And frankly, my favorite one, the one that always like, you know, touches me whenever I watch it, is the one that cost $124. So that's still my favorite short. And that's the one that was at South by Southwest. It was at Slamdance, you know, won a bunch of awards, you know, and you know, so you don't really need a lot of money to do something that is, that, you know, that represents you. And that's seriously one of the most important jobs I have as a director, is to hire like really good people around me to make me look better. So that means, you know, well, of course, writing the best story you can if you're a director or writer, but hiring, you know, casting the best, absolute best cast that you can, and getting the best DP you can, you know, all within your constraints. So yeah, and that's the most fun I think of doing what I do. The fun part of this is definitely not the part where I have to write the story and like, you know, and get all like depressed while writing. Like that sucks. That's really lonely. You know, the fun part is once we've got a script that everyone likes, we go out and, you know, we go out and shooting it and working with the production designer, working with my cast, going over the script, you know, figuring out, okay, does this make sense? Would this character really do this? You know, and that's where, especially with actors, working with, you know, smart trained actors really helps you. I mean, they bring, you know, your crazy ideas and your crazy words to life. So, and in that way, we're all really blessed to be here in New York City, where you have access to one of the world's biggest talent pools of amazing actors.